Yes, dear. Yes. I've got to tell my stories, and once we're done, we will go and head off to meet your family on garden. Yes, yes. I'm not putting it off. I'm not putting it off. No. You go ahead and get yourself ready. It'll just be a few moments. I love you, my dear. Yes. Oh, I'm looking forward to this trip. Bye-bye, my dear. Oh, yes, bye. Spoilers, I'm not looking forward to this trip. Hello, my friends. I'm Nook of the book. Yes, and today I think this may be the last time I will tell you about my friends, well, our friends, the Nightsky Syndicate, because we are getting to the point that you all met them. Yes, as we continue on, with our friends, we're beginning to head off to a little planetoid called the Run. Yes. You see, the Run itself was created from several shards of a crystal sphere. They were hodgepodge together. Nobody really knows who did it. I don't know myself. I wasn't there. I was actually one of my times I was on a bender, and nobody knew. In fact, at that time in my life, I don't know who or what I was doing. It just hit me that I have gaps in my life that I don't know what happened. And when I mean gaps, I don't mean like a day or a night. I mean 1,000 years. But for me, that's nothing. But hopefully I didn't do anything too bad that time. I mean, hell, for all I know, I could have made the run, but I don't think I did. I really don't think I did. If I did, it would probably be nothing but a library world, and there's only... Oh, fuck. Those of Yondu, I am very sorry. I helped make Yondu, and because it has a library, and I wanted a section that be kept open, but, you know, I helped them make... Yondu. So I'm very sorry. I forgot about that. Again, I will say I believe I did that because when it was created, I remember going drinking, and the dragon. Well, you all know that you don't know what dragons are, but the dragon I was drinking with was a good friend of mine, and he said, "You know what, Nook? I would love if you would help me with a project I want to do." And I said, "What do you want to do?" And he goes, "I want to make a library inside of a planet." And I was like, that sounds lovely. So we went back to gray space, and there was a planetoid there that had been broken up. So we went ahead and we kind of got some books together and made a little section that we could put them in, and then we put a planet around it. So, apparently I did that. I think I did that. I don't know. I was very drunk. So, oh shit. I also remember the other thing we did that millennium. Oh shit, a lot of shit's coming back. Ooh, I'll tell you about that later. We need to get to the Run. Because my wife and I, we are going to meet her family. Yes. Well, since we had gotten married so quickly, I did not get to meet her family. Yes, I'm going to meet her father and mother, and apparently she has like 5 brothers that are at this stronghold. So I get to meet them, and I will hopefully be okay. I've never met family members of someone I fell in love with. I mean, most of the time, people I've fallen in love with, they are either dragons or they are things that don't have family. And I've never really put a lot in family because I, myself, as you all know, I don't have a mother or father. I do have an equivalent of a big brother, Kerr, the Dick, and I don't know if if I have children, will I be a good father? I hope I will be. Again, we're going back. I'm getting off topic. I'm very sorry. But we are going to talk about the run. The run, like I said, it's from several different shards, 3 pieces hodgepodge together to make a small planetoid. The 3 pieces there is Foundland. Foundland is actually not lorded, but mostly inhabited by Appaloosa. Oh goodness. If you're wondering what Appaloosa are, they are a type of humanoid that, well, they look human. I think some of you have an equivalent, the Romani. Yes, they unfortunately, they basically are all the stereotypes of a Romani. I hate that, but they really are. They are shifty. They are very shifty. I don't like to place labels on people, except for Kerr, the dick. But they just thrive on twisting things and getting your money as fast as they can, and then of course keeping it. They're good people, but I've known many that are good people, and they let's put it this way. When I say that Kenda do not think they are stealing from you, but yet they do, Appaloosa believe that they are stealing from you. And they still do. So yes. I will go on later, because at this point, the Nightsky Syndicate met up with those in Foundland more than anywhere else. But we will talk about the other parts real quick. The second piece was called Hesag. This one was actually taken over and cultivated by a lizard people, the Black Claw Lizard Clan. These were actually lizard people who came from a ship that had escaped the original Spelljammer. Yes, the original. Now, I don't mean the one that came after that one died, or the one after that one, or the one after that one, or the one after that one, or the one that Teldon Moore just slammed into a wall and destroyed. No, I'm not talking about any of those. No, this was the OG Spelljammer. Yes. So, the OG Spelljammer, it had a lot of different races on it, and there was some, the captain at the time was a lizard man, and this lizard man had several children and had a very large clan on the ship, and he wanted to make sure they were okay. So he got several small jammers together, and he had his people get on them and leave. And that's of course when he passed away, because the ship decided he was being a bitch, and they locked him up. But his people still got away, and they searched for a home, and they found it on the run. And you see, before that, the Appaloosa had not shown up. It was just and they landed on the section that was mostly lush jungles and ponds and rivers, and very, very nice place. Yes. So that's where they landed. And the small jammers, once they landed, the small jammers took back to the stars and left them there, and where they learned that they were basically living forever, which did not work well with them and their beliefs. So after many, many centuries, they found a concoction that allowed them to withstand the effects of the astral sea, because as we all know, the astral sea, when you are in it, you do not age. So they drank this concoction, and it made it so that they had normal lifespans. Now, those of you who do not know what it's like to live basically forever, it sometimes gets very, very terrible. Because, you get some times where you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I loved that wonderful place it had that wonderful, what was it called? And you're sitting there and you're trying to remember it, and you can't ask anybody because this happened over, 14,000 years ago, and most of the people that are around you don't know about the food that was made back then. I mean, you might have something that's like it, but the thing that was main ingredient or spice no longer exists. So you're sitting there going, this was much better made by Nook back in the old days, and Nook and his family has been long gone. Yes, for about 12,000 years. Yes, you see, Nook and his family, they lived on a planet inside of a sphere, and he made the best ukadeli that I've ever had. And if you're wondering what that is, I don't know. I didn't get the recipe, which is another thing, that if you don't get the recipe, you have no idea how to make it, so that later on when you're like, oh, I would like some ukadeli, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have any of those spices. I know I'm going off a tangent, but I'm just telling you, this is what, I think they got it right. They got the whole thing where you don't live forever. You live a good lifetime, because it's not about the length of a life. It's the quality of a life. What you do with it. That means that I've probably squandered a lot of mine. With drunken binges and what have you. Anyways, the third part of the run is called the Scorched Lands. Now, the reason this is because in this one, the land is barren and only contains ruins of whatever species lived in the crystal sphere that exploded. Now, other than that, the ruins also have much gold and riches and artifacts that have never been seen before. But however, good luck getting to them, because the whole area is filled with monsters that only live on the Scorched Lands. They do not go to Foundland or Hisag. They stay in the Scorched Lands, mostly because that's their home and where they gain their power. And they are extremely dangerous. I would not recommend going there. No, especially if somebody says, hey, can you go down there and get that artifact I thought I saw? And you're like, sure, why not? I'll go down there. And while you go down there, you're gonna die. Yes, you're not coming back. And what's even worse, if you do die in the Scorched Lands and your body decomposes there, this is a twofer thing. If your body decomposes there, then your soul will be stuck and your body will be reconstituted, and you will end up being a monster on the Scorched Lands, and you will never be allowed to leave, never be allowed to rest. So don't go there. Yes, don't go there. Well, anyways, we're going back. We're going back to where our friends actually went to on the run, the Foundland. Now, you see, as they pulled in, because this is one of the main ports of the run, because the Hisag and the lizard people don't really like mixing with the outside. In fact, they only really like those who like rangers and druids, people of the land. They do not like people who use magic that is not of the land, and also they hate artificers. It's not a good place for anybody who likes to build shit. No. Anyways, as they pulled in, they found that there were a welcoming party that demanded taxes, and they didn't really want to pay it because they were thinking these people were trying to rob them, which spoiler alert, they were trying to rob them, but they still made it into port. And when they made it into port, they were looking through, because it's basically a area. It's a sprawling city with mostly markets, open air markets, and it's very nice. When you go in there, there's like tents on either sides of the roads, and they sell anything and everything. You could get yourself some fruit. You could get yourself some jewelry, some armor, some weapons, things that are not right to buy. People, slaves. But it's their society. I won't judge. I won't judge too much because, to be honest, it's kind of like when you get one of them as a slave. It's not so much that you are in ownership of them. That they actually they're doing it because they have a long con. So yeah. Anyways, while they were there, they met with the leader, the man known as Grandfather Yasul. Yes, you see, he is a very rotund man, and he wears a long fake beard, and he always speaks with a fake accent. Why does he do this? Well, because you see, nobody really knows what an Appaloosa accent truly is. No, because you can talk to one on one port, and they'll be like, "Hello, Captain, how are you?" And you talk to another one. It could even be the same one, and he'd be wearing a different mustache, and he'd be like, "Oh, Captain, how are you?" And then you'd go to another port, and he'd be like, "Hey, Captain, how are you?" And you'd be like, "This is the same fucking guy. Why, he keeps changing mustaches." I mean, the first one was a very full mustache, looked like that wonderful, spoiler for a lot of people out there, there is a demigod creature that runs around, and he has a very, very wonderful mustache. I believe on the Earth realm, he goes by the name Sam Elliot. And when you see him without his mustache, that is when the entity has left that body, that host, and has gone somewhere else. But while he wears the mustache, he is in the body, and he has no powers at that time. He's only has his powers when he's, outside of his host body. So, if you ever see a movie, or a play or something with a being with a very lush, beautiful mustache, and they speak he's got a very hypnotic and lovely voice. You will find that is Sam Elliot. Yes. I believe he's an actor in Earthrealm. I could be wrong. He could be what is known as a cowboy. And from my research, it is not what I originally thought it was. No, I thought it was a mixture of a cow and a man. So, a cow and a boy, and then they would look like. There's another realm called Moo Mesa, where there's people who what I thought were cowboys, but that's not what cowboys are on Earthrealm. They're just basically people who wrangle cows and wear hats. I believe they call them Stetsons, and they wear boots and chaps. That reminds me, I was in a place called New York, and it used to be known as New Amsterdam, but I liked it back then. Anyway, it was in New York. I went there, and there was a cowboy standing on the street corner, and he had chaps on, and he had a Stetson cap, and he had the boots, but he didn't have pants. And I asked him, "Sir, are you a wrangler?" And he looked at me and said, "Yes, $50 for an hour." And I said, "I don't have cows to wrangle, but thank you for the offer," and I walked away. Anyways, So, he talked to them, and he wanted them to do some things for him, but they were like, whatever, and they left. This, of course, was after he tried to poison them, because, he thought he could steal their shit. That's what he does. I mean, Grandfather Yasul, he looks like he's in his early 20s. The only reason they call him Grandfather Yasul is because he is one of the oldest Appaloosa on Foundland. This is only because when he got there, he was a very young man. And he's been there ever since. He hasn't really left the Astral Sea. Anyways, there was people watching them this entire time. One of the people that was watching is what is known as the Blade Master. This is one of the people, one of the leaders of the Appaloosa in Foundland. That they are basically the ones in charge of weapons. He is known as Uncle Stadol. Stadol, he looks like a very elderly man. Now, he looks like that, but he's very quite fit. Yes. He actually was watching our group, and also was helping the Master of Secrets, Trinity. Trinity, like I said, is the Master of Secrets. She is basically the one who knows shit before anybody else does. Yes. She has multiple people that run around for her and provide her with information from several different spheres. I've met her once, and she knew who I was even before I got there, and I was like, how the hell did you know that? She goes, I have my ways. And I said, oh, you're not looking at me when I'm in the toilet, are you? And she goes, no, that's terrible. And then she whispered something to somebody, and then after that, I didn't get that feeling of being watched while I was in the toilet. Shit, I think she was watching me. Anyways. As our group left, they were being watched by Trinity's shadows, and being reported back to Trinity and Uncle Stadol. And as they went back, they came across a little tent, and there was a disagreement between Fad and the person who ran the stall. The person who ran the stall, she was an elderly woman who actually had several sons. One of her sons actually helped her run the stall. His name was Aziz. Aziz took offense to what Fad was doing and decided to challenge him. Fad said no, because of course you don't want to cause an international incident, but you do not say no to an Appaloosa. You say maybe next time, or not at this time right now, I am busy. They understand that. They don't understand no. So you gotta stop and you gotta say no, excuse me, not at this time, please. I have shit to do. And, he wouldn't take that. And because it caused a ruckus, the shadows decided that since he had caused it, he actually was the one who threw the first punch, and was going in with the intention of kill. Now, the reason he did this was because, of course, there's several rules when dealing with Appaloosa. Number one, I will start with number 5. Number 5, if you are around an Appaloosa and they are charging you something that you know is way too low, they've already stolen your money, and you will only have enough to cover that. Number 4, Appaloosa are everywhere. Now, if you think that you're in an area that has no Appaloosa, you don't know shit. No, they are everywhere. In fact, you may find yourself coming across the same Appaloosa several times, mostly because they like to find somebody they like, and then, of course, follow where they go and try to fleece them as many times as they can. I mean, there's some Appaloosa that are out there that have fleeced the same person for decades. Yes! Heck, sometimes it's a family thing. I know of one Appaloosa, his name is Mukurai, and Mukurai and his family have fleeced several generations of a certain family. And I think the most recent generation is currently they're on Earth. And they are... Oh, hold on. Don't tell me this. Okay, they've actually decided to go after the descendants of the one they were going after, and all these descendants fled to Earth, and when they found that out, they went there themselves, and they decided to make these things called snookie My products, and their most valiant of their people was known as Billy Mays. He sold everything, and hold on, I gotta look something up. Oh, the poor man died. Oh, wait. Oh. Holy shit. Huh. Well, they're still running around there. If those of you who are on Earth, if you ever see anything that's made on TV, that is actually, as seen on TV, that is something that was made by an Appaloosa and sold by Appaloosas. So they are the ones who are actually selling you all that stuff. And that's why some of it is very, very good and some of it is absolute crap. So, anyways, after the Aziz fought against the, I believe Kaora was there as well, but it was mostly fighting Fad. As they did that, the soldiers came down and they asked what happened. Fad explained what happened, so did Kaora, and for doing this, the Aziz was killed. Now, that comes to rule number 3. Rule number 3, most of the penalties for things in Appaloosa society is death. Yes, like you go to another Appaloosa's house and you walk in with muddy boots, death. You steal the last apple without buying more, death. You accidentally make a joke about someone's mother. That's part of a later rule. That is death. So, yes, that's rule number 3. Rule number 2, we will go into rule number 2 right after this, which will go into what happened. After they had slain Aziz, that's when Kaora brought him back to life, and they were going to kill him again, but Thad and Kaora stepped in. And with that, Aziz pledged his life to Kaora and Fad. Now, Kaora said no. Plainly said no. And since he could not do any backlash against Kaora, because, of course, rule number 4, oh no, it was a 5, whatever, one of the rules, since that was the case, and Fad did not say no, he became Fad's slave and basically life dead. See, that goes into rule number 2. If for some reason you save the life of an Appaloosa, they will do anything for you. Same thing if they fall in love with you. If they fall in love with you, they will do anything for you. The man comes to your house and won't leave you alone, even if all he's doing is just selling books. Death. You do not like the man who's coming after you, as long as it's not the Appaloosa. Death. All these things that could happen, that do happen with Appaloosa. It's like I said, death. That's all it's about. But anyways, he became life-debted to Fad, and he followed him out. Now, one of the other things that was purchased while they were there was a little hat that they got for Ozzy. That was actually purchased by Flattery, and it was just a cute little thing that Ozzy was looking forward to. So they got that for him. So after that, they went back to the ship, and they made their way back to Cornucopia, where they landed the Nightsky Syndicate landed their ship, the Twisted Courtesan. When they landed, they began to... Oh, excuse me. I have not had any of my coffee or tea today. I am very sorry. Very unprofessional. Anyways, when they landed, they began to search the land for anything that they could find. And as they were searching, they fell down into an ice cavern. Now, some of them were very, very good at falling into the ice cavern. Others not so much. Others fell down and were all fell down the hole and slid into a spot. And now the reason they went after this was because, of course, their guide was a flump. Now, if you want to know what a flump is, basically think of a flying jellyfish with eye stalks. There's a rule. Always trust a flump. Which reminds me of rule number 1 for Appaloosa. Rule number 1, remember this very, very carefully, because it could save your life one day. Remember, everything all the penalties that they have are death. So anyways, rule number 1, never, ever make fun or say anything negative about an Appaloosa's mother. That is the truth. Now, if you're wondering why that is the case, well, Appaloosa, even though they are a patriotic society, which means they mostly run by men, that's kind of a two-edged sword. You see, Appaloosa females are more deadly than the males. You see, Appaloosa males are known for their keen wit and the drive for death. The females are known for whining, dining you, and then leaving you strapped to a bed with your penis in your mouth, several daggers in your chest, and all your clothes and belongings that you ever had stolen from you. And as you lay there dying, the Appaloosa male will walk in and ask what happened, and if you tell them, an Appaloosa female did this to me, and they'd be like, who was it? And if you said, it was, Serenity, and if that person was in love with them, they would cut off your head at that point. Yes, they are extremely jealous. But Appaloosa females, I believe they are the smarter of the species. Yes. So, anyways, like I said, you do not make fun of an Appaloosa's mother. It's very not seen. And if you do that, remember, death, very bad things. So, anyways, they got on to Cornucopia, and when they were there, they met a flump, and the flump offered to take them around to see things and such. So they made their way around Cornucopia, and as they did, they came across an ice field, and in the ice field, the flump said, we should probably be going underneath because it's warmer, and as well as, of course, the predators that run around on top could probably kill us a lot faster. And so the flump decided to go and take them under the ice. However, before we could do that, the flump was pulled down through the ice into a cavern. And that's where our group met up with everybody who's ever been listening to them. Yes, you see, at that point, they all fell down, and they came across those Yetis. And the Yetis were there, and they were ready to fight because they were very hungry. Now, you're wondering, well, if this was a animal sanctuary, Why are they so hungry? Well, you see, the Yetis that were there, they are part of an endangered species, but to quote a shadow ranger I met many thousands of years ago, Yetis, especially this breed of Yeti, are food-driven, but not entirely. You see, I don't want to call them lazy, but they will wait until they're almost starving before they eat something. And they're not very picky about what they eat. So it's very weird. It's like seeing what they call the Norwegian trolls that will eat rocks. These guys won't eat rocks, but they'll eat things that are softer. So if they find like a bit of fat or something on the ground, it has to be meat-based. They will eat it right away. But in this case, they could smell the flump, because the flump that was there, he, for some reason, he loved to go ahead and perfume himself with the scent of a certain species of meat beast. Now, meat beasts are very interesting because they're not endangered, but they do have them on cornucopia. The meat beasts were actually created by mages. The beast is basically about the size of a wagon. They can be anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 pounds heavy, and they have a very small head, itty bitty tiny eyes, like little chinchilla pink eyes. It's little tiny eyes. The little twitchy nose, kind of like a rat. The little twitchy nose, but the teeth are all grounded down, so like a cow. And they mostly eat grasses and what have you, any vegetable material. And the rest of their body, other than, of course, their legs, their head, and their genitalia, the rest of their body has no nerves. So if you go up to one, and they really can't see very well, so if you walk up to one, and they can't hear very well, so if you are singing a song as you're walking up to one, you could cut into its hide and pull off a steak or a flank, whatever you really want, and the body of the meat beast will heal over within a day, and their immune system is so much that any infection has no chance coming into them. Yes, it's very interesting. I remember I had a neighbor, 300 years ago, and he had 2 meat beasts, and he would have these wonderful barbecues, which was, again, you won't know it, but he was a dragonborn. He was a half-dragonborn. He had a mixed parentage. Anyway, he would have these barbecues that were just amazing. I would go there and I'd be like, "Oh, heifer. Oh, ho, ho." And he'd be like, "Sir, remember, my name is not heifer. I am not a cow. It's I said, "I'm so very sorry, Mr. Anyways, this is wonderful." And he goes, "Yes, I make sure to go ahead and smoke it first, and then after that I put in a rub, and with that rub I then put it on the barbecue to get those wonderful marks." And I was like, "Oh, that's wonderful. Can you give me the recipe?" And he was like, "Oh no, it's a family recipe." And now he's gone, and I don't know how to do that shit. Calm down, Nook, calm down. It's okay. Okay. Center. Anyways, so like I said, that's when we met up with our friends through the stories that you have been listening to, and from there you know the rest of the story. I'm not Paul Harvey. I'm Nook of the book. We got up to that point, and I think we're pretty good. So yes, I don't know what else to do now. I've told you everything that happened before, so maybe... How about this? Those of you that are out there, that are listening to me, if you want, I can read you stories from the multiverse, and you just have to let me know, and I will grab one of my books, and we will read them together. I have these ones from a group of Germanians known as the Brothers Grimm that are wonderful stories. Very dark, very dark. I know they've changed them into new stories for children, so, when it turns out that the evil stepsisters had their legs, their feet chopped into bloody bits so that way they could, put on the slipper. They didn't put that in the newer versions. No, they kept that out because that's horrifying. But anyways, so that's what we have for today, and I will be heading out very soon. I'm going to meet my in-laws, and hopefully they like me. My Pookiekins, I just want the best for her. She has turned my heart back into something that could be used for love. I mean, even if Veronica the bitch came back, I would tell her, Veronica, I will no longer call you Veronica the bitch. You are just Dr. Veronica. And she'd probably say something like, well, you're still a dick, Nook. And I'd take that, because you know what? I am in love, and I have the love of a beautiful woman. And she loves me so much. Last night, after we had dinner, we sat down, and unfortunately, I only have chairs that are for me, but she sat in my lap, and she had a book that she was reading, and I was reading a book as well. The book I have was called The Hitchhiker's Guide, and I was very, very... I saw it in a bookstore when I was in Los Vegas. Lone Wolf actually pointed it out and said that's a book that a lot of people like, and I've been reading it, and it's very interesting, to the point that I think I've met some of these people. I remember several decades ago, I came across a young man who gave me the most wonderful drink, and he had two heads, and he wouldn't keep eye contact with me. He kept eye contact with himself. I think if he was two different people, he'd probably be having sex with himself right there. So I believe his name was Beeblebrox the second. I'm not sure. Anyways, but it's a very good book. My Pookiekins was reading a book as well. The book she was reading was another very interesting book. It's one I picked up a couple years ago when I was on Earth, and it's called it's part of a series called Mercy Thompson. Mercy Thompson takes place in an area called the Tri-City. Oh, no, I read it. It says Tri-Cities, in a place that it's semi-arid desert. It seems very interesting, and it's got werewolves and vampires and all that. It looks very interesting, and I think she's getting into it very well. I mean, she's shown me several things, and I just smile, and I tell her those are wonderful. She is telling me that she wants to go to Earthrealm and get the next book. I told her, you know what, we can do that. We just need to get a few things. And she goes, what? And I said, well, for one thing, the people in Earthrealm, and when they saw me, they called me something called a scaly. And I was like, sir, I am... And then I stopped because I was like, they don't know what a dragon is. They'll just be like, what, sir? What are you? And I was like, I'm a scaly. And they're like, well, they're having a convention over there. And I said, what? And they said, yes, well, they're having a convention over there. So I went to this convention, and everybody was very interesting. I mean, there was a lot of tabaxi and some lupine people there. And then, as I was talking to one, they were wearing this wonderful T-shirt that said that something about hugs, and I was like, that is a wonderful T-shirt. And we were talking, and I noticed this nice young man. He was a tabaxi. It was not. He had not blinked the entire time that I had talked to him, and we were talking for about an hour, and I asked him, "Sir, you have not blinked. Do you need something for your eyes? They must get very dry." And that's when he took his head off. Yes, they were all humans. They were all wearing costumes. And I was like, "Oh my God." And he goes, "Yes, I can't believe your outfit is quite realistic." I said, "Sir, this is my body. I thought you were a tabaxi." He goes, "What the hell's a tabaxi?" And I explained what a tabaxi was. And afterwards he goes, "Wait a minute, you mean you're real?" And I said, "Yes, I am very real. My name is Nook of the book." And he goes, "You better leave." And I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because there's a bunch of people here that would probably want to have sex with you." And I'm like, "That doesn't sound bad to me." And he goes, No, you need to leave now." And I said, "Why?" "I've spoken to a lot of people here, and they're very nice." He goes, "Yes, there's a lot of very nice people here. In fact, we're actually doing a charity. All the money that we're getting from this convention is going to a children's charity." And I said, "Oh, that's wonderful. Well, then why do I have to leave?" He goes, "Because there's also, you know how there's always a crazy group in every group that's out there?" And I said, "Oh yes, I know. There's the where I come from, there's the NRA, the Naturalized Reptiles Association. These people are very crazy. They started out with people who wanted to, basically express the fact that they were reptile people. You've got lizard people, you've got dragons, all this. All those of you who identify as a reptile. I went to a few of them myself, but unfortunately they have gotten a very bad reputation because they wanted to. They have been fighting against a breath weapon reform, and I believe myself you should actually make sure that you have control of your breath weapon, because if you don't, you could be in a town, and have allergies, and you could walk by this ragweed sitting there, and you're like, "Oh no, I've got to sneeze." And if you have no control of your breath weapon, you could take out an entire city with your breath weapon, depending on what you are. I know with mine, it's mostly fire, but it's a very, very hot fire. In fact, I knew again, you're all going to say, "What the hell is a dragon?" I said, "Well, I knew one that had an acid breath weapon, and he was, poor man. He had severe allergies. Most of his allergies were basically, we'd be walking along, and he'd eat something, and he'd swell up, and we'd be asking, "What is in this food?" And they said, "All that is an egg." And he goes, "Oh shit! What kind of egg?" And they said, it's a chicken egg." And he goes, "Oh, I'm definitely allergic to chickens." And I said, I thought you were only allergic to their feathers and their down." And he goes, No, I'm allergic to all pieces of chicken, including the egg." And I was like, "Oh fuck." So we got him to an to a druggist. I was trying to do it what we call it here, but you know what? I find out that we use, massive words for simple things like apothecary. He's a person who sells drugs, legal drugs. Haberdashery. They take care of hats. It's not so bad, but you say it's a hat store. I know it sounds better when you say, "Oh, we're going to the haberdashery." Oh, that's wonderful, so posh. Instead of saying, "We're going to the hat store." Fucker. It sounds better saying haberdashery, so I think I understand why we use those larger words, apothecary, I don't know why we say we go to the chemist. It sounds like I'm going to buy the chemicals that make the drugs. And then, of course, there's several things that can go wrong with that, Anyways, where was I going with it? He told me that they have weird people there too that do very things that, even though all the good they do, it takes away from that when the few that are very, very weird and very destructive take it away. So he said, "Okay, I leave. I'm actually here for a bachelor party." And he said, Oh, is a friend of yours getting married?" And I said, "Yes." He says, "Oh, who is he?" And I pointed across the way where my friends were waiting for me. And there was Lone Wolf, Harper, Hawk, and of course the friend of Harper, and he looked at me and said, "Okay, I see a guy, a bird, and what looks like a half-bird man." I said, "Yes, that's Harper. Hawk is getting married. Oh, and before I forget, because you all know that Hawk was cheated on by Red Hawk. Well, we found out what happened. What happened was, Red Hawk was having his own bachelor party, and unbeknownst to him, they hired a hooker for him, and by the time that he got into it, he was blitzed out of his mind, and that's not an excuse, but he and Hawk have talked it over, and they are still going on with the wedding. They are getting counseling together, couples counseling, so that way they understand, the boundaries and everything, but it's going better now. I am very happy for them, because they are so good together. I've never seen Hawk happier in my life. I mean, and I've known Hawk for a while. It's just wonderful. I know, I'm stretching this out. I don't want to see my in-laws. I love my wife very much, but I'm afraid that when they see me, they're gonna say, "Oh, you're so old." And I'll be like, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm older than time, and I had no control over that. But if you want biologically, I am biologically in my not early 30s. Early 30s, late 20s, biologically. The reason I have this beard is because I think it makes me look very distinguished. And of course, Daggy loves my beard. Yes, he does. And I'm afraid they will also be like, "Well, we don't know what you are. You are some sort of lizard person. Will you be able to have children with our little Daggy?" And I'll be like, "To be honest, I have no idea. I really don't, because I've never had children before, and I've been around before the beginning of time, and I don't want to get into the fact, but I've been with many beings. I don't want to say people, because there's been, like I said, I was in love with a flower that was a druid once, and I know I made it sound like that was not me, but it was me. But anyways, I don't know if I can have children. I do, because again, I was not really born. I was created out of the nothing, and the only thing that came before me was Kerr, the dick, and I just don't know if I can have children. I've never really tried, but I know it's important to Daggy, so I'm gonna try. I've ordered some books to help me in case we do become parents. And there's this one by a man named Dr. Spock, and he's interesting. I was expecting a different Dr. Spock when I got the book, but you get what you get, and this one is mostly about raising children. I don't know if I like it, because he's talking about human children. And our children, if we are able to have children, will be half me, half goblin. So, oh shit, we'd be making demigods. Well, I'm not really a god, so demigod adjacent, possibly. I'm sorry, I'm bringing you all into this, and you really don't want to know about me and Daggy having sex. It's quite good, quite kinky. She has taught me things I didn't know. Take that in. Things I didn't know. And I've been alive since before time. Yeah. Anyways, so I should probably go. Daggy is peeking around the corner and is kind of tapping her watch and telling me we should be heading out. I've told her that we don't need to take a spelljammer to garden. I could teleport us there, and she's like, no. I want to take a spelljammer, so it's gonna take us a few days, but, that's okay. I like spending time with my daddy, and it'll be nice to be on. We're going on it's a galleon style, so, but it's one of the newer ones. You see, since there's been more travel between Earthrealm and of course the rest of the realms, those of you who live in Earthrealm have probably seen this. I mean, I know recently, because while we were at the hotel, I saw this on the television, that you have been seeing things in the skies, flying around, and I will tell you, some of those are aliens, some of those are your own people doing things, and some of it is just, we find ships that we like, and we turn them into spelljammers. So the one that we're using is a modified galleon that was modeled after one of your giant ships. I think they call them cruise ships. So it's got a pool, it's got a sauna, it's got all this fun stuff. So we'll have plenty of things to do while we have the couple-day journey to Garden. So, like I said, I should probably go. She's tapping her watch again. I know, honey. I know. I will be there in just a second. I'm finishing this up. You know, when you married me, I do things like this. But honey. I know we don't get paid for this. But it's something I wanted to do for our friends, the Nightsky Syndicate, since there were things that they did before they could record what they did. So I'm just doing this as a favor to them. But don't worry, after this, I'm good for a while. And then, if they want me to read some stories or give them tales or what have you, I'd be happy to go ahead and give them those tales, Oh, yes. Well, think of it as this. Think of it as practice for when we have children. And I will tell them tales themselves. Would you like that? Oh. I must go now. My wife has taken off her clothes and is heading into the bedroom with this, just leave. Bye. Poodles.